Trump versus a Fed who really controls America's money. Let's start with the wildest job interview question in America right now. Do you agree with me? Always. Because according to Donald Trump, if you disagree with him, congratulations, he will never be the next head of the Federal Reserve. Not Congress, not the courts, not the economy, just vibes. Trump says the next Federal Reserve chair must keep interest rates low and, more importantly, never disagree with him. So today we're breaking down what Trump actually said, why the Federal Reserve is supposed to be independent, who might replace Jerome Powell, and why this fight matters to your money, whether you love Trump, hate Trump, or just want cheaper EMIs. Let's get into it. What did Trump say? This week, Trump made it very clear while reviewing candidates to replace outgoing Fed Chair Jerome Powell. He wrote in classic all-caps energy that America should be rewarded for success and not held back by high interest rates. Then came the line that shook Wall Street. Anybody that disagrees with me will never be the Fed chairman. No footnotes, no fine print, just loyalty first, policy second. Trump has also publicly insulted Powell, calling him a numbskull and a major loser, and he repeatedly floated the idea of firing him for not cutting rates fast enough. Now Powell is on his way out anyway, but the message is clear. The next Fed chair better be on the same page, or at least say they are. Okay, pause. If you're thinking, why does this one job matter so much? Here's the simplest explanation. The Federal Reserve controls interest rates. Interest rates affect your home loan, your car loan, credit cards, business borrowing, inflation, stock markets, the value of the dollar. Basically, the Fed controls the price of money. Low rates, borrowing is cheaper, more spending, faster growth. Higher rates, borrowing is expensive, slower growth, lower inflation. The Fed's job is to balance growth and inflation, not to win elections. That's why historically the Fed is independent, meaning it does not take orders from the president. At least that's the tradition. Now, Trump isn't the first president to pressure the Fed, but he is the first to say the quiet part this loudly. Most presidents complain privately. Trump is saying, agree with me publicly or you're out. That's why economists and investors are nervous, not because low interest rates are evil, but because political control over monetary policy is risky. If interest rates are cut too fast, inflation can spike, the dollar can weaken, markets can overheat. If rates stay high too long, growth slows, jobs are lost, recessions deepen. The fear isn't about what decision is made, it's about who makes it and why. According to CNBC, Trump is looking at three main names. Kevin Hassett, Director of the National Economic Council. Kevin Warsh, former Federal Reserve Governor. Christopher Waller, current Fed Governor. Among them, Hassett appears to be the front runner. Why? Because he has worked closely with Trump before, supports cutting interest rates, knows how to communicate policy in Trump's language. One Fed historian put it best, Hassett is probably the last guy in the room and the one who can make Trump feel heard. In Washington, that's a skill. Now here's where things get interesting. The U.S. economy isn't collapsing. According to government data, GDP grew 4.3% last quarter. Consumer spending is strong. Exports are up. At the same time, inflation risks still exist. Cutting rates too sharply could backfire. The Fed has already cut rates 3 times this year, landing between 3.5% and 3.75%. Trump's wanted closer to 1%. That's a massive difference. So the debate isn't imaginary. It's about timing, speed, and risk tolerance. Now, why this matters to regular people? This isn't just a Washington ego battle. If Trump gets a Fed chair who aggressively cut rates, loans become cheaper, markets may rally, inflation could return. If the Fed resists political pressure, stability improves, growth may slow, borrowing stays expensive. Neither outcome is automatically good or bad. What matters is credibility. Markets run on trust. Once investors believe interest rates are set for political reasons, not economic ones, uncertainty rises. And uncertainty is expensive. This story isn't about Trump versus Powell. It's about a bigger question. Should the most powerful economy in the world run its money on independence or loyalty? Trump says low rates mean success, The Fed says stability takes patience. Somewhere between those two ideas lies the real answer. And whoever sits in that chair next won't just shape markets, they'll shape how America decides who controls money itself. So that's it. If you want more explainers that break down power, policy, and politics without the noise, like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.